Well, the coronavirus, the fall in the equity markets, fall in crude prices may just have taken off some of the sheen of Women's Day, but nevertheless, we on the Money Show will ensure that we don't let it die down completely. So for all the women watching, for all the husbands, boyfriends, brothers, fathers watching who do want to do something for the lady of their life, well, this show is dedicated for you. We're going to be exploring two different angles of women and money. The first one, responsible for ensuring their future, protecting their future, financially safeguarding themselves from the ill adverse effects that could occur in health. And the second one is something with respect to pop culture. Why pop culture shows many of their leading ladies in, well, a bad light and then in a not so bad light. There are some lessons that you could learn from that. But first, let's talk about insurance. There are so many sort of products available out there. Some of them claim to be women-only insurance products as well. Some of them, of course, are extremely unique. They are targeting you for the time that you spend while being pregnant. So we're going to be talking about all of these insurance covers, and then you guys can take a decision on whether you should opt for that particular insurance product. Anup Rau, MD and CEO of Future Generali India Insurance, joins us now. Anup, thank you for joining us on this very special edition of the Money Show. And I think I want to start off first by talking about these women-only insurance products. Why don't you start off by telling all the ladies watching that the next time an insurance agency or a marketer calls them and says that, we have this women-only special insurance product, should they opt for it? What is the difference between a regular Mediclaim?
So there are fundamentally two kinds of products. One is the hospitalization of the reimbursement product. Could be cashless, could be post-care reimbursement. The second is critical illness products. Now, between both of them, you normally cover every possible requirement a woman might have. You may not necessarily need a women's only product. Women's only product could be narrower, could cover very specific conditions, could also in greater depth cover conditions which are particular to women. But there are a lot of products out there in the market which would cover all that is covered under a women's only product and more.
Maternity cover, this as well is something that a lot of women I've been hearing have been taking, and well, that's a good thing. But why don't you start off by introducing what exactly is a maternity cover? And again, does it differ much from a regular Mediclaim? Should a woman have a maternity cover, especially if she is around her fertility age, or if she's planning to start a family?
So I think everyone should have insurance fundamentally. So if you were to talk about maternity cover, that's what you spoke about, that most companies have a waiting period of say 2 to 4 years, which is to say that if somebody were to buy a comprehensive family product, the waiting period is normally 2 years, after which maternity is covered. If it's an individual product, it's 4 years. Now, women should have insurance. It's not necessary they take a women's only product, which could be a lot narrower than what benefits they could get in case they take a regular product. The point I'm making is that a women's only product could be useful, but a generic product could cover that and a lot more. So be it fertility treatments, be it pregnancy-related complications, be it post-delivery care, be it care for the baby, all of that is covered in regular policy. So there's no reason for a woman to really go for a specific product. As far as critical illness is concerned, that is again, the illnesses covered there are help you with income replacement, which is to say that in case, say, you have cancer, for example, you might have to miss work for about 6 months or a year, and a critical illness product will help you, because it's a fixed benefit product, will help you replace your income loss. So between both these products, everything you require could be covered, is the point I'm making.
So I'm glad you brought up critical illness covers. There's something called as cancer covers as well that a lot of companies do sell. And like you mentioned, there are women-specific cancers, unfortunately, that do inflict them. Breast cancer, ovarian cancer being, a few examples. Do you think a cancer care cover would help, or would it amp up the entire coverage? And also, of course, would it provide that loss of income, like you mentioned, that would happen if a woman does find herself afflicted of cancer?
I think women should take a critical illness product. Cancer is just one of the critical illnesses. It could do with any organ. It could do with lungs. It could do with heart. It could do with pancreas. Could do with any major condition one might have. So there are also cancer-only products. But again, I think the point I'm making here is that the broader the definition of your insurance product, the better it is for you, because it works out far cheaper for you to have a comprehensive insurance product rather than specific products or products which are very narrowly defined.
Okay, fair point. That's of course about critical illness as well as cancer coverage. The other talking point that I would like to have with you, Anup, is with respect to the premiums that women have to shell out versus men. You know, there was a recent report that spoke about how there are certain age groups where women actually have to shell out more when it comes to premium compared to men. And obviously we are talking about similar individuals. Health being the same, age obviously being the same, so on and so forth. Would you like to comment on that?
No, so I mean, which is not true of our company. I mean, so the premium you pay is basis the health you have. So I think that is the singular factor.
Okay. What would be the ideal cover amount that a woman should take out an insurance for, according to you?
So what I would suggest is that a woman takes a cover for say between 5 and 10 lakhs and then takes a top up on top of that. Top ups are relatively cheap. I mean, significantly cheaper, in fact, not just relatively. The reason being that most people exhaust their cover at 5-10 lakhs. So it's very rare that you'll exceed that amount. So companies give you a top up over your base cover at very cheap rates. So I would suggest, you know, a 5 or 10 lakh cover with a top up going up to say a 50 lakhs or a 1 crore, because in case you have a catastrophic event, then that cover would come in handy. The second, like I mentioned, is a critical illness cover, which again is pretty cheap, but which will help you with income replacement in case your recovery time is extended or you have a longer stay at the hospital.
You know, insurance has a lot of jargons. Top up is one of the jargons you mentioned. And, you know, just to tell our viewers, 5 to 10 lakhs. And on top of that, you can just add a little more to your sum assured. And you don't need to pay a lot for that incremental amount you'll be adding. That's basically top up. But yeah, like I mentioned, Anup, you mentioned a lot of jargons. And insurance does have a lot of jargon. So to simplify it for all our viewers, could you talk to us about some of the most important points you believe that should be there in an insurance document before a woman signs it?
I think fundamentally it has to do with the extent of coverage and all that which is covered. So, you know, for instance, are the maternity benefits? You know, is the network of hospitals wide enough? Does it cover treatment overseas or only in India? What are the kind of conditions covered? You know, what category of treatment would one like, and all that which is covered. So simply, you know, how comprehensive is it? How deep is it? How widespread is the network? What's the credibility of the company? What's the claim settlement ratio? These are the fundamental questions one need to ask, and any insurer which fits those requirements are the one she should go for.
Okay, great. Thanks so much then, Anup, for joining us and helping out all our ladies out there on how they can select their next insurance product. We will take a very short break, but when we come back, we have a very special interaction lined up. We will be talking about the inspiration that you should not be taking from real life women. That's right, characters portrayed by Bollywood and Hollywood, the money mistakes they make, and how you could ensure that you do not make the same mistake. Vanshika Goenka of Cool Kanya will be joining us after this very short break.